08052894614. Aspire Heights Realtor says get your properties at affordable prices. Yeah.
Aspire Heights Realtor is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, real estate and land agent with 100% guarantee. Aspire Heights Realtor, now you be baba.
Oh yes, buy land, buy house, lease and rent houses or land with ease at Ibejuleki and its environs at Aspire Heights Realtor at affordable and reasonable price. We have estates in different places: Arium Estate, Abidjan, Lekki, Green Island, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate, Lekki, Peninsula Home Phase 2, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate Phase 3, Lekki. All this and more are our estates with good roads, maximum security, buildings with good structure and well planned. And as far as Ibejuleki have good future, you too can come and plan to have your own company. Refineries under construction, Lagos State Smart City, Lekki Free Trade Zone and Lekki Deep Seaport is under construction at Ibejuleki International Airport. 60 different Chinese companies, Fort Milan Bridge, Ibejuleki Shoprite and so on. Commercially and industrially, Ibejuleki will be great and conducive place for everybody. Come and get your own property at Aspire Heights Realtor. Come directly to our office at H56 57 Ikota Shopping Complex, VGC, Lekki Epe Expressway, Ajah, or call Mr. Adeniyi on this number 09070995466 or 08052894614. Aspire Heights Realtor says get your properties at affordable prices. Yeah.
Aspire Heights Realtor is here for me.
Oh, yes.
Everybody listening, real estate and land agent with 100% guarantee. Aspire Heights Realtor, now you be baba.
Oh yes, buy land, buy house, lease and rent houses or land with ease at Ibejuleki and its environs at Aspire Heights Realtor at affordable and reasonable price. We have estates in different places: Arium Estate, Abidjan, Lekki, Green Island, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate, Lekki, Peninsula Home Phase 2, Lekki, Royal Flex Estate Phase 3, Lekki. All this and more are our estates with good roads, maximum security, buildings with good structure and well planned. And as far as Ibejuleki have good future, you too can come and plan to have your own company. Refineries under construction, Lagos State Smart City, Lekki Free Trade Zone and Lekki Deep Seaport is under construction at Ibejuleki International Airport.
Hello. Welcome to another program on Noble Television. My name is Bernadette Abu, and this is Business Surgery. With me here, I've got a guest here today who is called Master Mo. Hi, Master Mo. Welcome to Noble People Television.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everybody.
I know this is Black History Month. This is October, and October is Black History Month. But we're going to talk about business, and then we'll come back to Black History. Don't worry, stay tuned. And we're going to invite you to yet another program on Noble People Television. But now we're going to talk about confidentiality when it comes to business.
Sure.
When it comes to business, you know, confidentiality, if you're dealing with documents, it has to be confidential. When you're dealing with people, whatever you talk or communicate, whatever they show you, let's say if someone actually go to ask you to do a work for them, and whatever you discuss should be kept confidential.
It depends on the environment and arena that discussion is held on, and the parameters of that meeting.
Yeah.
But what is important is that if it's a meeting where it is specifically said everything in this room should be kept confidential,
Yeah.
then it is ring-fenced to those people in that meeting alone.
Yeah.
What generally happens is it's never is. People don't know the parameters of what confidentiality means or how confidential they can be, because one little slip makes everything a little bit more open, whether it's by accident or on purpose. So it's a little bit difficult in a very congested environment when you talk about confidentiality, because it's not just in meetings, It's something that happens generally in our everyday life. You can have a private word with a friend of yours that you might think is confidential, and the next minute you hear that all over the place, and you're wondering, how did you get there? I thought it was a conversation between you and I, but then it spread out. So it is something that you have to ring fence around that word.
Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Madam Yetunde. Thank you, Boss Lady. Thank you, my Boss Lady. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Soi. Thank you very much, Madam Odabier. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, everyone that is watching. This is Noble People Television. And when we're talking now about confidentiality, because things need to be kept private, unless, because there's something that is saying, unless someone's life is at risk, because sometimes when it comes to information, but if you notice that, like, the person is telling you something, but their life is at risk, you have to share it. But let's say in an instant, as a business person, let's say as an accountant, and someone comes to me for consultancy,
Yeah.
right, which is their own business.
Yeah.
Basically, they're not supposed to share. It's like sharing information. There are
Yeah.
certain information which is not supposed to be shared out to someone that is not actually dealing with that business or dealing with that aspect of it at that moment.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree. There's a lot of things that are ring fenced around confidentiality.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are ring fenced around it. In our everyday lives, in terms of businesses,
Mm-hmm.
the business that we do with other people,
Yeah.
what we choose to keep private, what we choose to disclose. Because there's sometimes people disclose things on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and people want other things kept quiet. If you're doing a private negotiation, or your accountant is your own personal business,
Yeah.
and your accountant understands that there's certain things that they sign to make sure that it's ring fenced around disclosure of evidence. Because even though people say it's confidential, if the government wants to know what you've been doing
Yeah.
around certain things,
Well,
they can go to court and get powers to
yeah.
open that disclosure.
I'm not saying about like the government, which is like someone, even with government, it's like if they're investigating,
Yes.
if they're like investigating the person.
Yes.
Well, let's say if I come to you
Yes.
for business and I discuss about my business,
Yes.
should you share that information out to a third party? Actually,
Absolutely.
that's the actual word, a third party. That's why they call it a third party. Should it be shared to a third party, or should it be kept within the boundaries of agreement, basically me and your company? Or should staff be trained about confidentiality? What do you think about staff training about confidentiality?
I mean, I think in terms of businesses that we would go into,
Yeah.
all staff should be trained on confidentiality. You know, I happen to be working in a place that I had to sign a disclosure
Yeah.
that everything that happens in that building
Yeah.
cannot be disclosed, cannot be passed to a third party at all. Whatever the reason, they don't care. It's you can't pass that on. So that's a level of confidentiality. It's confidential. It's private within the establishment that it is. You know, when you go to different agencies, those agencies that you go to
Yeah.
will also have that disclosure form anyway, to say that whatever discussions you have with us is confidential between your company and mine, and no third party shall know of that. If they do, they're in breach of their legal requirements.
Thank you very much, KJ Kaja. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, Ola Oluwawa Adeyoma. Ola Oluwa Ademola. Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Welcome to Noble People Television, and we hope you're enjoying this program. Because when it comes to business, or when it comes to dealing with someone, you need to know where there is boundaries, what you need to share and what you don't need to share. Even when it comes to actually your colleagues you work with, if they're not dealing on that case or on that matter, they shouldn't know what exactly is going on.
Absolutely. I mean, there's ring fences around confidentiality in all levels of business, from the junior staff to management to senior staff, where they have senior meetings and things like that are kept confidential. There are things that will be passed down; those are not confidential. There's some parts in the meeting where they say this is a closed sector now. There's going to be nothing passed down at all, and they will discuss that. So it's important for everybody to be trained and to have an understanding of the word confidentiality, how it affects, what it means, even documents that you have. You know, sometimes people leave important documents in a photocopy,
Yeah.
you know, for others to see. You know, it's been known that people leave documents in cars, in taxis.
Yeah.
You know, how confidential, how safe are those kind of things. It's important in terms of confidentiality. We now live in a technology world, and there's a lot of confidential around internet access
Yeah.
to your phones, to your computers, what you send as emails. You know, there's a ring fence around people being trained on what they should and shouldn't do, and what they can or cannot say, or what they should or shouldn't pass on. It's, you know.
Milka, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Mr. Adebayo. Thank you very much for watching this program on Noble People Television. With me here, I've got a guest called Master Mo, and I'm Bani Abu. We're on Noble People Television, and we're talking about confidentiality when someone go to you to do business, because in big businesses they operate, but while with small business owners you will discuss with someone, the next minute you hear it outside. You might discuss even your business project, and then you hear it outside to someone else.
Yeah.
So why don't small businesses do training about confidentiality? Do you think it's a must, or because they're small business it doesn't matter?
It matters on all levels. I mean, the word itself matters on all levels. What it is about finance.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes it can't afford to put people through the proper training or get somebody skilled to come in and offer the training, so they just don't do it. Especially if they themselves are not very versed in how to train people, they just don't do it. Big businesses can do.
Yeah.
Small businesses don't have that financial luxury, but they should have, even if they don't have people trained, they should have a paper audit to say to somebody to sign that whatever you deal with or do within the realms of your workplace is confidential, and everything discussed should be kept within the confines of that building.
Should you, when it comes to, let's say, big businesses, when it comes to places like Google, Amazon, you name it, banks, when they notice there's a breach of confidentiality, they either the person is sacked or removed from their office. But with small businesses, it doesn't. And the funny thing, when it comes to charity organizations, especially now there are lots of charities around.
Yeah.
When it comes to charity organization, some of them tend, in as much as there's funding for training, but some of them tend not to send staff on training.
It's about funds, not funding for training. It's about funds. They don't want to allocate funds in that direction because they think they're losing out on the funds. Because big businesses will send people on training. They can recruit money back, or
Yeah.
they make enough money to make sure that whatever they're dealing with is kept within the realms of whatever it is. Small businesses, it's about a skills audit. You can't sack people because of them not being confidential. You just can't afford it.
But what about, there are lots of short courses going around, even some colleges, universities offers training for businesses. And some of these, some courses that you can get even with the government, some of them are free.
Yeah, but generally,
Mr. Adebayo says you're right. He said you're right. Confidentiality should be applicable in our homes, not only on businesses.
Yes.
Do you think it should be applicable in our home?
Of course. I mean, that's where confidentiality is the least, because you will find that whatever is discussed within the home, you might, each partner might think it's private and it gets let out.
Yeah.
It gets fanned. You will tell a friend, and a friend will tell a friend, and in a short space of time, everybody within the circle, in the environment, is known. People put out their business in social media when it's supposed to be confidential.
Yeah.
People generally need training in terms of how they should conduct themselves, and there's a lack of it. One, people are lazy in terms of what is important and is a priority.
Yeah.
Because you're right, there are some courses that people can go to and find out and source out, but small businesses don't have massive HR department. The HR department might just be the manager owner, themselves.
But if you were, let's say if you're recruiting, you actually employ more than 5 people.
Mhm.
We're talking about small businesses. That's why I even use charity, because there's some
Yeah.
charities
Yeah.
who recruit, in as much as some of them are volunteers,
Yeah.
but they recruit like more than 10, 15 people, but
Yeah.
confidentiality training is not conducted in their premises,
No.
not send them out even on the free training.
No, because number one, even within their HR departments, they don't see that as a
A
massive-
must.
It's a must. It's not high in their priority of importance
Mhm.
until something happens. Then it becomes a major issue. But definitely, it is something that big businesses
Yeah.
are
They take
they-
it very serious.
They take it very serious because there's industrial espionage that
Yeah.
goes on in big businesses,
Yeah.
all levels of big businesses,
Even
and they-
sabotage.
and they're looking for that all the time. So they counter it all the time. So it's important that they do act on that. Then they're well on top of it, because leaks are costly. To big businesses. Small businesses can absorb that a little bit more, but big businesses, it costs a
They
lot.
can't afford to lose like a customer, or they can't afford even the scandal. It's not just a customer. Sometimes it's a scandal. They don't.
Yeah,
really-
it damages big businesses, and not only that, in terms of confidentiality, there's issue about celebrities.
Yeah.
There's a level of confidentiality when celebrities hire nannies to work in their homes and so forth. They have to sign a confidentiality that whatever they hear inside the house stays inside the house, and they can't go reporting it to the newspapers and so forth. So there's levels of how we behave and how we react and what is expected all the time. And I think that's one thing that people don't take on board, what is expected in terms of behavior,
Yeah.
what is expected in terms of knowledge base. And small businesses don't have that luxury of the levels of knowledge base because they don't have a massive HR. If they did,
Or they don't have a equipped HR, because your HR doesn't need to be massive for you to know that confidentiality is a must. Confidentiality training is a must.
it's how
Because
it's
these
how
days
people
they have
monitor things as well.
Yeah, and these days they have things like online courses which you can even buy for even £20.
Yeah,
Because as long as you have the valid information, you have the right information,
yeah.
you can use that and train people. At least let them have the basic knowledge of what is confidentiality. It's not like just talking about confidentiality and people don't know the effect, the impact.
Yeah, well, it's access to information. When we talk about confidential, it's who leaks the information or who discusses it, who does it benefit,
Yeah.
and why. So those are the issues that you need to look. When they look at the levels of confidentiality, because in small companies, if the information that they pass around all the time is not of major importance, then confidentiality is not that big an importance. But if it is, if they're technology-based companies, design-based companies,
Yeah.
where they want their design kept secret or their technology kept secret, then there would be massive amounts of confidentiality, packages and training to all their staff, because that's so needed. But if it's something that they do production and stuff like that, then it's not that much.
I've got a question here. He says, is it normal for couple to hide their wages from each other because of confidentiality? Thank you. You just actually made my day. Thank you so much. He says, is it okay for couples to hide their, because it's confidential, you have to keep it secret?
Well,
Because the word confidential, it means keeping something secret or keeping it to yourself.
yes, it depends on your relationship you have with your partner. But if you have a trusting relationship, then the issue of what you earn financially shouldn't be a secret. It should be an open book.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul, thank you very much, Pastor Pauline, for watching us. Thank you, Lucinda McCollin. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Georgiana Masoso. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, everyone that is watching. This is Noble People Television.
But you know, historically, it's been something that's been done over the ages. Couples hide their wages, their actual
Hope
income.
you're listening, Mr. Adebayo, that
They hide.
it's not okay. That is not confidentiality.
No.
I don't want you to start doing that. And you say, Bernadette said I should hide my wages.
Nobody's saying hide your wages,
Yeah.
because if you're in a particular job, anyway, if you're in a particular job, everybody will know what the ring fence around the income of that job is.
Yeah.
So they'll have a general idea what it is.
Yeah.
But it's when you have additional incomes and things like that that you don't want your partner to know,
Yeah.
then there is little trust in your relationship.
Okay.
That's-
So relationship should be based on trust and not based on confidentiality.
Oh, it should be based.
That's my own opinion, sir.
It's,
Wages slip should be based on trust. You don't need to hide because it's your money and her money. So basically, she's going to see the bank statement, so you have to hide everything.
see, most couples, okay, it depends of old, not
Yeah.
not the modern day ones.
Yeah.
Most couples of old
Mhm.
used to have separate bank accounts,
Yeah.
so they used to hide each other's
Payslip.
pay slips, and the man would give the woman or whatever, either way around, a lump of money, but they never let them know. But the modern day people now, they have a joint account, so whatever it is, they'll know what it is they're earning. So it's about trust. That's not about confidentiality. There's other issues around confidentiality that you should look at outside of what is happening.
Of marriage.
Yeah.
So if you're still listening, sir, if you're still with us, Mr. Adebayo, wages slip for me is a no-no. You don't hide wages slip. You have to be honest. That's part of integrity. That's not part of confidentiality. Integrity, as a man, you should have the integrity. Show your wife the wage slip. Don't hide it from her, because it doesn't matter how much you get and how much she gets. If you get more than her or she gets more than you, then it's just the same thing. It's your money. So learn to share. Sharing is caring.
Yeah, and I was wondering when somebody's going to bring that up. But
Sharing is caring. So learn to share. That one you can share information, because there is when it comes to confidentiality, you can share information. Sometimes it's like reporting up. You have to report to certain people, and sometimes you cannot report down.
Yeah.
Unless if the person is actually
Yeah.
involved in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, coming back to the gentleman with his wages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Madam Say.
It's. I think where you want to talk about confidentiality wages is about sharing your wages with your friends and all outside of your relationship, to let everybody know what you're earning. And
You see, even Master Mo have actually he has actually agreed with me that it's not with your wife. The confidentiality should be with your friends. You keep things secret. It's not everything you tell your friends, because that's how even jealousy comes in. Start thinking, oh, you're having too much.
Definitely. So that's where you have to hold something back
Thank you very much.
for you and your partner to enjoy.
So we're even with schools, with children, in businesses, staff, should it be just the staff or business owners, or let's say, because even like when you work, let's say if you're working as a staff, should your employers keep you, if you're working like in small businesses, let's say a bakery or just any small businesses, should your employer keep your information secret? Should they disclose it to other staffs?
No, that's your personal business. That's what I'm saying. Small business. That's your personal business. It's not something for anybody else to know. That's where I'm saying the people need to be trained in how to discuss issues. Personal issues of staff is personal issues. That's why it's called personal. It's your own personal business and it should not be disclosed. Even you will find that sometimes you discuss something with somebody and the minute you leave, it's been shared.
Yeah.
And that's so wrong. That's so wrong. And it's important that you have that level of integrity and keep whatever is said to you as private, because somebody's had the decency to come and talk to you in confidence, have a quiet word in confidence. That means it's only for your ears to behave and react to, not for anybody else's. But often enough, people don't take confidentiality serious.
Or is it the lack of knowledge about what it is, or they just don't take it serious? What do you think?
It's not the lack of knowledge, it's about they don't know the repercussions. They think whenever somebody goes out of the forum of not being confidential, there's a cannonball snowballing effect that happens, and people don't know the conclusion of those snowballs. That's why they started, because you might just make a leak, and you think that leak stops there, but you don't know where that leak will end, and that's the problem with people making leaks or not being very confidential, because it has a massive impact. You could be at work in a very small business, as you say, and say you have a particular illness that you don't want people to know about, but your boss knows. Now, if he went around and told everybody, you get embarrassed, because that's not for everybody to know. So it was up to him to keep that private. So those simple things, that's there. If you're having financial difficulties within your workplace, and you go to your boss and say, look, I'm having this problem, I'm having that, that's confidential. That's for him to keep private, not for him to tell everybody else. Because if you wanted it common knowledge, you would have called a meeting and made it common knowledge.
I love that. So he says, Master Mo, you're welcome to Noble People Television. She's actually one of our top fans. She said, you're welcome to Noble People Television.
Thank you. It's been a privilege and an honor to be here, and I am glad I got the invite.
You're welcome.
For the, not for trying, but also by timetabling as well, because it's been difficult. We do have other interests as well. But it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. You're welcome to our studio. This is our studio. This is Noble People Television, and we've got great things here. And we're glad to have you here. We're honored to have you here today.
It's my absolute pleasure.
Now, with based on the fact that, will you advise to send people on course, or do you think the staff should go on the course themselves? What do you think?
Well, if
personal development, should you make it a goal like personal development, or do you think it should be based on like career development?
It's a career development. The personal development doesn't come in the realms of levels of confidentiality for a business. That business should be the one that's sending you on that, because that impacts on them. Your own personal development is about growth and education in other fields and other areas. That has to do with the business, so they have to send you on that. But if they don't send you on that, okay, it's something you can read up on generally, just to have a general idea how to be a little bit more aware of the type of things that can be construed, outside the realms of being confidential and not. The dangers to look out for, certain things that you can or can't say within the realms of your workplace, certain things you can or can't do within the realms of being confidential, actions you can or can't take. So those kind of things you can personally do for yourself, but it's important that your company addresses those issues for the staff. Small businesses don't often have that luxury, but it's something that you can bring up as well.
So do you think if small businesses don't have the luxury of the funding, so should they employ people that already have the training? Because let's say now, when I did confidentiality training when I was in accounting and finance.
Right.
When I was in NVQ, actually, not even when I was doing my degree.
Okay.
As low as NVQ level 2.
Yes.
Those are things that they train you on, managing people, working with others.
The thing is, what you've just said is an important facet into levels of confidentiality. Depending on the industry that you're in, will dictate how serious they take that issue. Generally, service industries don't take that issue that high.
Yeah.
But in terms of other kinds of accounting, banking, right, technologies,
Finance, basically.
finance, where it's somebody else's lifestyle that's questioned. They take it quite serious. So, that's where you will find the two, you know.
But why don't, and welcome Diane Melrose Pratt, thank you very much for watching. Why don't service industry? Because service industry work more with people as well.
They work with people, but not from a personal point of view.
Okay.
You're offering a service. You're giving them service for certain things, like in restaurants and hotel. Those are a little less personal. Apart from if you have the care staff or the cleaning staff that will go into people's rooms and see things in there that they shouldn't see or see. That's where they should be kept confidential and kept that under lock and key.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I like the comment. Actually, you're from Sierra Leone.
I am from Sierra Leone.
You don't sound Sierra Leonean.
Oh my gosh! Please don't say that. That's so bad. No, I do sound Sierra Leonean.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, can't get away from my roots, man.
So, what do you think? Like this kind of issue when it comes to like, let's take it a little bit out of the continent. Let's take it over to things like Africa. Do you think they have things like that?
Confidentiality?
Yeah.
They do, but you just don't take it serious.
Do you think it should be imposed there?
It's, one of the things that I will say when you come to cross-continental issues,
Yeah.
it's about culture
Yeah.
and lifestyle.
Mhm.
If the culture is of a particular way,
Yeah.
then the lifestyles of trying to impose something is going to be very difficult. In Sierra Leone
Yeah.
and in West Africa, I would say most parts of of Africa,
Yeah.
that level of confidentiality
Yes, please.
will take place in certain quarters only. The rest is, I think, is an open field. I think sometimes people tend to use their information more for bribery than disclosure.
Okay, so they use it more for blackmailing.
Yes.
Okay. Should people be blackmailed because you know something about it?
Should they be? It depends what it is.
No, should they be?
Should,
Let's say in a form of business. We're talking
Should
on a business level, not on a personal level. Let's say I'm doing business with you.
Yes.
You come to me to we invite you to a studio and we ask you questions. We know about that. Then we use it against you. Should that be done?
It shouldn't be, but then let me put something to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to just use Africa as a sounding base to bash them all, yeah?
Yeah.
In a lot of big companies, they do that same thing.
Okay.
They do it, there's a little bit more discretion around how they do it. But they blackmail people, they do all the sort of things that is deemed, irresponsible and irrational, and but they can get away with it because it's done under a blanket. In Africa, it's a lot more open. I had this thing, right, that when the World Cup was on,
Yeah.
they talked about a lot of the African delegates being bribed, yeah? And there was a big hoo-ha about bribing and so forth. And I asked a question, I said, hold on a minute, when you invite somebody over to a cup of tea in Buckingham Palace, yeah? And you invite them over to isn't that the same bribe?
It depends. It depends what the cup of tea was meant for, and how it was done, and what
No, it doesn't.
Actually happened between the two. Was there a brown envelope passed over?
It doesn't have to be. You see, bribery doesn't have to be a brown envelope.
Well, that's why I say it depends what actually happened between the two parties.
Somebody's saying
what
to
kind of
somebody's saying
negotiation?
to you, I'll give you 40,000 on the backhand.
Yeah.
Or somebody's saying, I'll offer you, you can go have tea with the Queen. That's worth 40,000. It's the same 40,000.
And for what? If they say you can go
to get your vote.
To get your vote.
Yes, to get your vote. If you come and you can come and have tea with the Queen. If you give me your vote.
Okay.
Or I'll give you 40,000 to give me your vote. One is just cash payment.
And then one is just in kind.
In kind, yes. And they're both wrong, but one is deemed as business and the other one is deemed as bribe. When it's done in Africa, it's deemed as bribe. When it's done in Europe, it's deemed as business.
Okay.
So that's why I'm always very wary when we want to pass excursions on the continent of Africa in terms of the dealings that they have. They have a financial situation in Africa that is quite dire. So people will do all sorts of things to get money.
That's raised to another question. A quick question before we close up. Bribery. If you hear about bribery, should it be kept confidential?
Should it be kept confidential?
Yeah, bribery.
It depends on the forum that you hear it, obviously, because
that's two things that doesn't work together. Bribery, mostly they say you should disclose it if you know about it. If you know about something going wrong, you should disclose it.
Yes.
But then we're talking now about confidentiality. Should bribery be disclosed or should it be kept confidential?
If you're having a meeting in a boardroom, where all the information in that boardroom is kept confidential, and one of the management staff there.
Thank you, Rika. Olive, thank you very much for watching us.
He's saying, let's go and bribe that person to get their business.
Yeah.
That's kept in that boardroom. That's kept confidential.
Okay.
That's a business dealing.
If there's an agreement, because they say how can two work together unless they agree?
Well, the agreement would be that they're going to make an offer to somebody in favor of something.
Yeah.
And that's an illegal offer.
Okay.
So should it be kept quiet?
Quiet.
Yes, it should, because it's done within the realms of confidentiality.
Because they all agree.
It's within that realm.
Yeah.
If it's in a meeting where they're discussing the business or the plans for that company,
future growth,
and they're saying, look, you know what, we need to get this deal done, but this guy might need a bit of bribery to get it over the line. That's done within that realm of that meeting. That's confidential. If somebody leaks it, then it's not being confidential.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. And that takes place a lot of times in big businesses.
Okay, now I see. Thank you very much for that answer you've given us. So what's your take about confidentiality? Do you think it should be a must to any professional? That's professionalism.
I think it goes, for me personally, it goes beyond the realms of being professional only. I think it's in our everyday life.
Yeah.
It's in our everyday issue. We have conversations with our friends that we might like to keep private and confidential, and then you hear it elsewhere, and then you lose trust in the person that you've given it to because they've broken that confidence. As children growing up, your children will tell you something in confidence. Do you break that confidence with them to disclose whatever it is they're telling you? And as you grow, it depends on how you grow up, what you grow up in, the environment you grow up in, will deter how you then take that on board. But definitely we all should have a degree of understanding, not of the word confidential, but also the consequences.
Secrecy.
The consequences of not being. I think that's the part that we all miss out.
Okay. That's good. Thank you very much. We are glad to have you here today. This is Noble People Television. My name is Bani Abu. Because today I have two programs, because this is Black History Month, and I'm going to, African Business Women, we're organizing a Black History Business Expo. So we're going to do another program, part 2. Don't go away, stay tuned. We're coming up with another program, and we're going to talk about Black History Month and the business exhibition that we're doing. It's a dinner and dance. So stay tuned till we get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. My producer is going to put... Oh, Miss Master Mo, before you go. Before you go... Okay, son. Before you go, what's your message to the viewers, to business people, with their businesses, with customer? Because when it comes to things like that, it's not just in the organization. You do with customer information. You know something about your customer, businesses to customer, what businesses to businesses. What do you think about that? Because for me, I'm more concerned about businesses to businesses and businesses to customer than staff members in general.
If you want your business to grow, people have to have confidence in your business.
Yeah.
Having new customers is is hard,
Yeah.
but keeping them is harder.
Yeah.
And in order to keep them, you have to make sure that those customers feel comfortable in your presence. And to do that, the level of confidentiality that you have around whatever the information they're passing on should be kept just that. And that will keep them closer to you and help your business to grow, because that will spread on how good you are in what you do.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so to meet again, thank you very much. This is Noble People Television. My name is Bani Abu, and with me there's my guest, Master Mo. We say goodbye till we meet again. But stay tuned, not till we meet again next week. I'll be used to that. Stay tuned because I have another program just to come and tell you about Black History Month. Thank you and have a great day.
Yay.